Okay, so we're going to talk about it because I want to talk about it. So, first foremost, right? If if I can talk to angels, then that means I can talk to demons too. You know, you see, people have been doing some wicked stuff to me, and when it comes to people getting into very demonic, satanic stuff, because I know how to communicate. You see, people, they don't know, they don't understand that whatever they send to me, I know how to heal it. It doesn't matter how much time it takes, because a lot of the things that go on spiritually, we are creating contracts. So I've had a couple of people to conjure up a demonic entity, and because I'm able to communicate, I ended up switching the contract. So this demonic entity protects me. People wonder why I'm so protected, because you wouldn't imagine the type of shit that people have tried to do to me. The people in my home, my son, it's vicious out here. And when it comes to spirituality, this is why I be telling people, do your research before you get into anything. You know, I have a tarot course because when it comes to me, it makes individuals like curious about tarot. So they just go to a tarot reader or they'll go to a practitioner to try to get some work done. Oh, thank you. That was loud. Okay, that must means that somebody's under judgment. And I'm gonna tell you because it has a lot to do with my job. So, this is why people be thinking that I'm a witch, because bad shit, crazy shit be happening to them, and they think it's me. It's not me. It's my protection. You don't know what is protecting somebody. So when it comes to tarot, because a lot of people begin to get into tarot, I decided to do like a tarot course because I think that you could use, like, tarot is just a tool to skill your intuition. I don't need the cards, but I like my tools. I have my sage, I have my sound bowls, I have my dream catcher. Like, I have a lot of tools that I work with. I'm starting to find out that I'm strong with candles. Okay. So, and what people don't know is that it's levels to this shit. And to where you think nobody is protecting sacred knowledge, you're absolutely crazy. You cannot just jump into some shit and think that that's how it's going to go. I know that from personal experience. I remember I tried to do a banishment spell on somebody. I'm trying to tell you, I took this motherfucker's code. I took a lot of a lot of objects, and I went to the park and I set a fire, and I threw all of their materials into the fire, and I spoke out. I want this person out of my life. I want this person out of my life for good. I was trying to banish them. When I say that shit backfired, it backfired on me. And the thing is that it hit me mentally. You know, I could not think straight. I didn't know at the time, I didn't know what was going on with me. Later on, it was revealed to me. Because in some situations, that's why you have to know who you are. And you can't be afraid to come outside of the box with discovering who you are. Because, we all are inherited and rooted from certain origins. And if you are not of that origin, but you want to get into the practice of things, the knowledge, the knowing of things, well, you have to be initiated, because the knowledge is being protected. This is why they call it sacred, you know? So, so when it comes to tarot, I have that tarot course, because, my thing is that if you want to go to a reader, learn tarot first, do it for yourself, and then go to somebody else. Because the moment that you exchange any type of energy with that person, you are creating a contract. So what ends up happening is that that contract, now that rather you give money, rather you exchange goods or a favor, whatever you do, that is you signing that contract. Okay? So when you sign that contract, it's not just with that person, you're signing it with the universe, saying that you are stepping into unknown, or let's just say sacred knowledge. So you're stepping onto like sacred grounds now. And this shit is not a joke. It's definitely not a joke. I have been doing this for a long time. And along the way, I have had mentors. Lucky me. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, I used to have mentors. So, you know, it's it's crazy out here. It's crazy. It gets crazy out here. So once you sign that contract, now it's kind of like the universe opens up in a whole totally different way. It's like now you stepping into a portal. And once you step into that portal, some doors that you walk through, you can't close them. So once you enter, then it's kind of like your awareness has heightened. Once your awareness has heightened, that is putting out a signal to the universe. So now you're not only dealing with worldly laws, rules, and regulations, but you're also dealing with spiritual too. Religion doesn't teach us this. So that's why, a lot of religions, they want to keep you, within that construct of the perception around whatever religion you belong to. For some people, it's safer for them to be there. For other people, they have a different calling over their life. So they get into things that are outside of the quote unquote norm. So now it's kind of like the universe says, "Ooh, who is this person? Who is this new person that what is this new energy that stepped through the portal?" So then they go through your history of good and evil. Okay, so like I tell people every 10 years, that is a karmic cycle, right? So every 10 years is, you have Maya. There are many different cultures that have deities that are represented by justice and fairness. So whatever culture, whatever you identify with, I'm ancient Kemet. Okay, but I do have crossed over past lives in other origins, like Greek mythology, you know, Celtic, Aztec, Mayan, Sumerian. I believe that's Sumerian. Yeah. So, my thing is, when it comes to the laws of the universe and putting balance and harmony back into certain situations, because now you've entered that portal, your awareness has went up, whether you want to accept that or not. Okay, whether you want to accept that or not, you have stepped into that portal. So every 10 years, it's kind of like my yacht goes in, and everything that you did that was devious, that you got away with, well, now you have to pay that out, which means that the underhanded shit that you have been doing is now going to come back to you. So you'll notice how you can get away with doing certain things for a long time and not be found out about it. But then something hits you, and it hits you, it's like a wrecking ball, and it wakes you up. And it's kind of like, damn, this is not working. So I'm going to give you an example. So, there's a certain way in which that I would get men. Okay. So one day I met somebody who was totally different from what I usually go for. But the thing is that I tried to use the same tactics to get this new person the same way that I would get all the other men. And I'm trying to tell you, I got humiliated and I got embarrassed. I'm talking about I got my ass handed to me. You know what I'm saying? It took me 11 years to get over that situation, to heal from that situation. It's kind of like I got slapped in the face. I thought that I thought I was the man out here. I thought I thought I could have and get whatever I want. And the thing is that you can. But at the same time, when we're dealing with people, you can't intervene with people's free will. But you can influence and you can try to manipulate somebody, and make them go against their own will. But when it comes to the universe, it's all about intentions. When it comes to worldly law and when we go to court, it's all about evidence. Okay, so the intentions it measures, is your heart lighter than a feather? You know what I'm saying? So, when the scales are not balanced, the universe naturally, everything is in perfect harmony and flow. So things have to be put back into balance. You got away with doing this, and that for years. Now it's your time to pay that karmic debt out to where you're going to experience the same thing. And I'm going to tell you, even with me being me, I have cleaned out a lot of karmic debt. I have cleaned out all of the karmic debt. But the thing is that you never escape anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I've cleaned out my karmic debt, I still have to put karma out. Okay, so I'm going to tell you something about myself. And it is pretty embarrassing, but fuck it, okay? So I had been connected to a spirit guide. This was somebody who wanted to take me on as a mentoree. And, I didn't know that this individual, and when I say mentoree, this meaning that this is a real live person. Okay, so with me being under the guidance of somebody else, there were things to where I'm just like, I shouldn't do that. But I thought, I'm just like, well, if I'm learning, then I have to trust what this person is teaching me and just go by what they say. So the thing is that this was not a good mentor. Okay. He was a good mentor in the way to where he was teaching me how karma works. Okay. So I'm gonna tell you, there was a family that used to live in my apartment complex, right? They moved out and they went on a cruise, and they had to have all of their stuff shipped back to the address. Okay, so when the moving company bought all of their stuff, they lined it up in the hallway. Right? So my mentor, he tells me, he says, look through the suitcase, and I'm just like, what? I don't want to do that. I don't want to go through somebody else's stuff. But I ended up going through the suitcase, and I ended up stealing a couple of clothes out of the suitcase. Okay, so I'm going to tell you, I thought I got away with that shit, right? So one day, I had ordered a pack of hair so I could do my hair. I was really looking forward to doing my hair. I was real happy, like, I was so fucking happy. So my hair is delivered, and guess what happens? Somebody ends up stealing my hair. I did not see that shit coming. I didn't see that shit coming. I was so the fuck mad. I was so upset. And I'm going to tell you, karma sneak up on your ass. That's the worst shit, that you don't never see it coming. You know what I mean? Especially when you're expecting good things. So I stole from that woman, and another woman stole from me. Okay, so even though my karmic debt has been paid out, I still have to keep the balance. So what I do, I might go to the grocery store. I might eat like some grapes or some shit before I get to the counter. It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing the right thing all the time, because you have to maintain the balance. So I find creative ways as to how to do it, because I know it's going to come back on me, right? So I'm not going to do anything extreme. So a lot of the times, I might go to the store and take a piece of gum, like I might take a piece of gum out of the wrapper and leave it there. Or I might eat the grapes before I get to the counter. Or I usually eat something before I go to go to the counter. So that is my way as to how I keep the balance. But for the majority of the time, I know that I'm being watched. So I know I have to be careful about the things in which that I do. Okay. So going back to me talking about my protection, I have a lot of protection, both angelic and demonic. And it's very purposeful because I deal with a lot of malice minded people. Okay. So, very heinous, very cruel way of thinking. I'm a healer. So, of course, I'm going to attract that to me. I have accepted that. It is what it is, which is why I am so protected too, because I have purpose in working with individuals, but, we need some security in the building, if you understand what I'm saying. So, speaking of building, you know, there, somebody tried to attack me. People have been talking about me. Motherfuckers been lying on me. People trying to stage some shit to try to get reactions out of me. Somebody was in there talking about me. I get they were trying to make it seem like I didn't have no discipline. I was out of control. Like I be snapping. Like I'm ghetto and all this type of shit. Like I don't know how to handle myself at work or in a professional setting. So, I had some people try to come up against me, and a part of the separation from my job, you know, has a lot to do with the car. Okay. Now the thing is that that's not a coincidence. So I had spoke to somebody before and I asked them because in a funeral home, it's spiritual. So I'm thinking, and it's a lot of people in there who get into different things spiritually. For the most part, most people are Christian, but there are other people who get into like other information and other practices, different denominations. So, I had asked this guy, I was just like, do you know if they cleanse the building? It's a spiritual place. And then you deal with a lot of grief. So I don't understand why you wouldn't be cleansing the building. So the guy that I had talked to when I first came for my interview, this guy, he was wearing like 4 bracelets of tiger's eye. And he had a tiger's eye necklace too. So I'm thinking that he knows the same shit that I know because if you know tiger's eye crystal is protection. It protects innocence. It protects your emotional state. So I'm thinking like, okay, it makes a lot of sense why he has those crystals, to kind of keep himself shielded and protected from absorbing other people's grief, emotionally and spiritually. That was my assumption. So when I said what I said, I thought he was going to understand where I was coming from, but he went to some people and he was talking shit. Then later on, he tried to be funny and he came to me one day. He was just like, "Did you get the grief out of the building?" And I'm just like, "No." And I'm damn sure not doing it for free. So, like motherfuckers be in there like trying to take like little shots and shit. My thing is, I said something to you because you got those crystals. So I just assumed that you had some type of awareness, but whatever. And, I've been picking up on little stuff, but I mean, I don't work a lot, so I don't care. But something happened, we had a meeting, and that was the last straw. That was the last straw. Like, God was just like, you got to get out of there. So now, there's a demon possessing that place, and it's jumping and it's hopping around in everybody who's toxic because demonic entities feed off of people's toxicity. And when you're being possessed by a demonic entity, you're not yourself. You're being possessed. Just like I show you how when I merge with spirits, they are possessing me. I am their host. So that demon is in there feeding and it's hosting on anybody who is toxic in there, which is why I had to get out. which is why I'm going to be separated from that job for a while. This is why I suggested that you cleanse the building. I'm just saying, you know, motherfuckers trying to be funny. You know, I bet shit not funny now. But anyway, you know, it's crazy. It's real crazy. Because my thing is, I can see what's going on. I choose to ignore it, but it's kind of like they was just like, time is up. You know, because somebody in there is watching you and studying you, trying to figure out how they can fuck with you. So now we about to fuck with them. Hey, I ain't got shit to do with it. You know, people do it to themselves. This is why I tell people, just leave people alone. You know what I'm saying? Just leave people alone, because I have no idea as to why I was targeted. I have no idea. And then motherfuckers still been trying to lie and still trying to make me the target. And every time they do that, for one, they're being driven by that demonic entity to do that. They're not in control. Then on top of that, that demonic entity is exposing who that person truly is. It's not just one person, it's many, because there's somebody in that job to where it's kind of like God is trying to show them. God is trying to show this person what's really going on up in here. I mean, I don't know if that person cares or not, but I know that they seen it. You know, however they decide to deal with it is on them. Some people you just can't fuck with, so don't fuck with them. You don't know what's protecting somebody. You don't know what is surrounding somebody. You don't know. If you're not a seer, if you do not get into, you know, if you are not gifted, if you're not talented in this, you're not gonna know. I haven't given anybody any reason to try to come for me. I do what is expected of me. Why are you fucking with me? It's okay, because now you're about to be fucked with, and it's nothing that I can do. If I come back, then they'll be protected, but I'm not no time soon. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be gone for a month, so you know, it's kind of like good luck. You know, so it's kind of like God is cleaning the house. God is cleaning house for me. When it comes to my home is my sanctuary. I clean my home, I clean my sanctuary every day. So when I step into other environments, it's going to be cleansed too. Especially if motherfuckers are fucking with me. Oh, like I said, I ain't got nothing to do with it. You know, I tell you, God is funny. God is real funny. But anyway, you know, that's that. So we gonna wrap it up there. Until the next time, we'll talk again. Thank you.